Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk again a little bit about the Shree Siddhivinayak temple. So in the last short on this channel, I've discussed how this temple in India is a Ganesha temple, and there's a Murti, form of Ganesha, pink in pink, right? And that actually is what Ganesha looks like, right? In his form, a little pink elephant like that, right? And what happens here is at this temple, what happened at this temple is that this temple was so alluring, right? There was so many offerings, right? It was so alluring to Ganesha that Ganesha, the god, instead of just having the energy and basically like a normal shatram, basically, where you have the energy of the deity that can be connected to, okay, what happened here is that the deity actually physically in its form, the Ganesha in his form, actually went inside the Murti. So visualize him merging with the Murti in his form, basically, and taking the place of the Murti, right? And basically, entering the Murti physically in form, right? So juxtaposition of the Murti and the deity. And basically, the Murti and the deity have the same place, right? And that's what happened. So Ganesha entered the Murti at the temple and got stuck within it. Okay, he entered because he got attracted to it, and he got stuck within it. And there's a reason he got stuck with it, because essentially, once he had entered the Murti, basically something was done to keep him inside the Murti. Okay, so at that point, they basically Ganesha got stuck within that Murti, right, or that form of Ganesha, right? So what happened at that point is, well, now, and how did that happen? How did basically Ganesha visualize that he can like teleport? So he teleported into the Murti. His form teleported into the Murti because he got attracted by it. And he was unable to teleport out of the Murti. He was stuck within it, right? Because that's one of his abilities, what he can do, Ganesha. He can teleport his form from one place to another, to be at any place, right? But he got stuck within it. So now, anyways, with a little bit of reorganization of things, Ganesha is now free again. Okay, that form is now free and no longer stuck within the Murti. Okay, and is free to go do his things as he sees fit. Okay, so a little bit of information about Shree Siddhivinayak. Okay, there was a reason why people were going to this temple and getting these cities, getting these miracles, these things granted, is because Ganesha was put in a situation where he had no choice really but to grant these things, right? Because he was stuck within the Murti and subject to conditions. So at that point, you have to be careful a little bit in the way you build a temple and how ambitious you get, you know, because it's good to create a shatram, a zone of transformation, a zone where you can connect to the deity. But once you start thinking along the line of seals and stuff like that, sealing in the deity, bringing the deity into a Murti, sealing the deity in, basically trapping the deity, now you're no longer taking the approach of bhakti. You're taking the approach of an abuser, basically. And then people don't necessarily know what was done in these places and these things. So it's easy to think that everybody's a good person, but it's not because you're praying to a deity or trying to get something from them that you're necessarily a good person. So it's important to know that there are right ways to do things, and there are ways that things are not rightly done. So it might not have been general knowledge that Ganesha was basically attracted into that Murti and basically kept inside that Murti, right? And forced essentially to give out his blessings to everybody who came to the Murti and prayed to it, right? And offered to it. He was trapped within it, you know? So do you think that he wanted to be trapped within it? Okay, no. So when you're trying to do that kind of process of creating a temple or something like that, you know, you have to be very careful that you remember that, you know, deep down, if you're no longer having a devotion to the deity, you know, then there's a serious problem. It's a little bit like not having devotion to your guru. You know, there's a problem with it. So it's the same thing with a deity. You know, so when you're just in it to basically get something out of them, you know, and you want to trap them, trap their being, trap their presence into a specific place, that's very close to like a seal, you know. So all of those technologies, you know, for trapping, you know, and for and all that stuff for keeping a part of someone or part of something somewhere, you know, you have to be very careful because there's an ethical consideration to all of that, and that applies to basically a deity as well, you know. So one thing is to remember, and also that if you trap a deity, the deity is not going to stay trapped forever. You know, he's going to outlive your trap, he's going to outlive all that. So basically, you know, my advice in this situation would have been not to take that approach, you know. In fact, it's concerning when you see, for example, a deity like Ganesha that I'm allied with, you know, who got stuck, attracted and stuck into this Murti, you know, trapped into it. And then when I come on up to that, you know, me being ally, I free him from this Murti, you know, and I basically give him his freedom back. So give Ganesha back his freedom. And then when I freed him earlier today, he asked me. He said, "Can I do something for you?" And I said, "Of course you can do something for me." And anyways, so that's just how things are. So all that to say, you know, there was a reason that all these things were being granted at the Siddhivinayak temples because Ganesha was actually physically stuck within the Murti, right? So you're no longer connecting to God, but actually that form of deity is actually there within the Murti, physically, right in front of you. You know, attracted into it because it looked like a really hospitable place to go and spend some time within that Murti, you know. And it looked like an attractive place to go visit. And you know, it's a little bit like a buyer beware thing. You know, he got caught, you know. So you have to be careful when you're a deity of certain things. Like you have to be careful when you're a regular human about certain things, because let's just say, you know, Ganesha, who's no longer stuck in the Murti, might not be super happy about what happened to him, you know. So, you know, things to think about. All right, thanks for listening.